inside of KNS, and it's just simple and quick to do. You can then start making customizations. You can change, we're going to see it a little bit, you can change, sorry, I think I lost my sharing just a second here. All right, sorry about that. You can change how the results are laid out, so on. And in fact, everything we're going to see today, even looking ahead, some of the rich features we're going to look at, you can apply those to the standard lookup inquiry maintenance box.
Okay, great. Now, I know one of those constraints that a lot of developers have had problems with was that you can only have one inquiry view for a given data object. Has that changed now in KD3?
Right, that has changed. Like James said before, you can only have one. Now you can have as many as you want. Not only inquiries, but lookups or maintenance docs. For example, here, I have an inquiry on the player. My first one here, I'm using, we'll talk more about layouts, so it's a basic one-column layout. And that's good for that one. But in some cases, I want to display a little bit different. This is not real drastic, but the second one I have here is using a two-column layout and doing some things with the rows and column spans just to kind of line it a little bit better. And I can keep going. I can define as many of these as I wanted to. The one thing that I have to do now, though, since I do have more than one, I have to specify this property called the view name. I don't know if people can really see it, but it's just an attribute on the form, attribute on the view, and I can set this to anything I want. In this case, I'm calling alternate, but we might call it basic, advanced, or whatever. But this is what I'll use the framework to tell it, hey, I want inquiry number 2, not inquiry number 1. So let's actually now jump over and look at some of these and start showing what these things look like. So here's our sports app. And I think I might have missed this a little bit earlier, but we have a menu for this as well. We built some frameworks, so you can build anything, not just your documents. You need to actually build menus as well. So the first thing I have here is I'm going to show our first inquiry. Like I said, this is a simple one-column layout inquiry, really basic. But now, as well, I have a second inquiry, and if you were to look at the URL on this, you would see that I'm passing in a press parameter called view equal to alternate. So that's how I'm telling it I want the alternate inquiry. And then it's first going to bring up that, where it has the two-column layout and some row and column spans. So you can see how this might be useful for things like lookup. You might have a basic lookup and then a link where they can go into advanced lookup on the same object. If you don't specify any view name, for instance, with framework still does things where it will look up to inquiries automatically for you. What it's going to do is just use the default. That first one we set up, we did set a view name, so I implicitly used this view name by default. And so here in the lookups, you see I have an inquiry, and I can click on that, and it's displaying my first inquiry.
Okay, great. Now, can we get back to that lookup result? Actually, I kind of have a personal request here. I have a Jira in my queue where I'm supposed to add sorting and potentially even paging the lookup results. Are you going to help me out with that? Is kd3 going to help me out?
Certainly will. So here's the result table that James is talking about, and a lot of people probably know this from KNS. But the implementation behind this has changed. This is what we call a table layout for a collection, and it's being backed by what we call a rich table, which is a widget. And the implementation of that is a jQuery plugin called data tables. So kd3 uses a lot of jQuery, and we're going to see more of that coming forward. And data tables is one of the big plugins we use with that. So data tables brings all kinds of functionality for us, including sorting that James was talking about. Probably hard to see, but we have little arrows here that on the headers that we can sort ascending or descending. We also have paging here, where we page through the results. And there's many more. One we use in some places, in place of paging, it's called infinite scrolling. So as you get the 10, it will fetch the next 10, and you just keep going down. But there's tons. Show by columns, filter columns, export. There's all kinds of things, and you can actually write your own plugin.
Okay, cool. I think my functionals are going to be very happy with that.
So here's what I think I want to mention on this subject, and that's the actions on our results. So this is a point where a lot of people had to jump from the XML configuration to code because they wanted to add a link here, they wanted to change links. So I'd like to jump back to the code real quick and bring up another file here. This is a snippet that I grabbed actually out of the base framework to show. And you see here we have this being called lookup results group. You don't need to worry much about that, except that's the group that plays our lookup results. And then we have another group called our maintenance action group. And if you're looking at this, you'll see it defines 3 link fields, which you just think of as links for the edit, copy, and delete. So since it again is an XML, it's a bean, we can extend that. We can add our own custom links in XML, or if we need to do code callbacks, we can do that as well, or we can click it all right.
Okay. Now, back in the demo, I saw that when you pulled up an inquiry for one of those fields, it came up as a light box. Can you speak to that?
Right, and it's a good point. So one of the nice features that Bridge applications offer is what's called the light box. So let me actually just, I think I'll use the quick finder here, or look up for team. And you see that it comes up, what's called a light box, which is kind of like a dialogue. But the thing about it, the user is still on the main page. They haven't navigated to another page, or another tab hasn't opened, and they end up with 8 different tabs. And they completely lost their original flow in filling out the view. So we use the light box. By default, all of the lookups and inquiries go through the light box. We're going to be working on bringing up all custom content in the light box. Here I have another lookup on the video ID, and I can select that, and its content is going to fill into the light box. And then another thing that appears for us are breadcrumbs. So I know it's probably hard to see here, but since we now have 2 lookups, the framework added the breadcrumbs for us. So if we want to, we can navigate back, and we kind of know where we're at. Because we could keep clicking, if this had an inquiry or lookup, we could just keep going down, and you could really get lost, what was I doing before? So the framework will keep adding these breadcrumbs, and then if you wanted to, you could simply click back to a previous lookup, or you can always just X out, and then you're back on your main view. By the way, you see our sports logo here, and this area kind of here is that application header we talked about. And you also see here that we have breadcrumbs on that. And these behave a little bit different than the lookup, or I should say the light box breadcrumbs. These are our view or application breadcrumbs, so they don't quite do that chain like you saw. They're more of a site index. So you see now we have our home, we're on the player lookup. If we were to go to the venue lookup, and then from there go to the player lookup, it wouldn't show us 4 breadcrumbs. It would show us home player lookup again, because that's where we're at in the site. And so this allows us to navigate between the views back to the home page. And one great thing I think people appreciate as well, just another way of navigating, is the back button is fully supported in kd and works.
Hooray for that. Okay, thank you, Jerry. Now, David, got one more question about lookup. That lookup results that Jerry had up there is the same tabular data that I've seen in lookup results for years and kind of bored of it. Is there a way to change the look and feel of the lookup results?
Yeah, we really need to figure it out if we couldn't customize that a little bit.
Okay, good.
Yeah, let's look at an example. So look at the team lookup. You can see here from the structure of the lookup, just like what Jared was showing us, your basic criteria elements. We're adding a custom control here, but that's nothing new outside of the kd construct. But here in the result fields, things look a little different.